What happens when Europe's largest nuclear power plant, once powering millions of homes, goes dark in the middle of a war? Deep in Ukraine, the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant now stands silent, surrounded by soldiers, damaged power lines, and growing fear. Could this quiet giant turn into the world's next nuclear disaster? Or has it already escaped one? Let's uncover the truth behind the shutdown that shocked the world. The heart of Europe's energy. Before the war, the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant, known as ZNPP, was the beating heart of Ukraine's energy system. Built during the 1980s near the Dnipro River in the town of 𝐸𝐻𝐸, it contained 6 massive reactors, each one powerful enough to light up entire cities. Together, they produced around 20% of Ukraine's electricity, fueling homes, schools, factories, and hospitals across the nation. The plant's design followed strict safety standards, with thick concrete walls and multiple backup systems to prevent radiation leaks. Ukrainian engineers worked around the clock to ensure everything stayed stable. For decades, it symbolized progress and strength. But all that changed in 2022, when the sounds of whirring turbines were replaced by explosions and gunfire. War and power, a dangerous mix. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, it marked the start of a terrifying chapter for Zaporizhzhia. By early March, Russian troops had taken control of the nuclear plant, the first time in history that a working nuclear site had been captured during an active war. Ukrainian workers were forced to stay and operate under the orders of armed soldiers. Soon, military trucks and weapons filled the plant's grounds, turning a place of peace into a war zone. Explosions echoed nearby as both sides accused each other of attacking. Ukraine claimed Russian forces were using the plant as cover, while Russia blamed Ukraine for the damage. The stress on workers grew unbearable. Some were detained, others fled. What was once a hub of energy became a dangerous pawn in a global conflict. When the lights went out. At first, a few reactors continued running despite the occupation, but as the fighting intensified, things started to fall apart. Shelling damaged key power lines, fires broke out, and emergency shutdowns followed one after another. By September 2022, the last reactor went offline. The massive complex that once powered half the country now stood still, surrounded by armed guards and uncertainty. Fast forward to 2025, 3 years later. On September 23rd, the plant faced its longest blackout yet, lasting over 2 weeks. Another power line was destroyed, leaving the site cut off from the main grid. Backup generators roared to life, but even they have limits. This was the 10th such blackout since the war began. Repairs couldn't start because of nearby fighting, leaving the reactors in a fragile state of safety. The race to keep it cool. Even when a nuclear plant is shut down, the fuel inside remains dangerously hot. Without proper cooling, it could overheat and melt. Normally, powerful pumps circulate water using electricity from the grid. But when the grid fails, the plant must rely on diesel generators. Zaporizhzhia has 20 of these generators, each capable of running for weeks on fuel. Workers rotate them to prevent breakdowns, constantly checking gauges and fuel levels. But if they were to fail, it could quickly turn into a race against time. In 2023, things got worse when a nearby dam collapsed, lowering the water supply needed for cooling. Ukrainian engineers responded fast, drilling new wells and redirecting water from nearby sources. For now, cooling is stable, but any mistake or new round of shelling could bring disaster within days. The risk of a nuclear disaster. The fear of another nuclear disaster looms large. The world still remembers Chernobyl in 1986 and Fukushima in 2011, where failures in cooling systems led to explosions and widespread radiation. Experts say Zaporizhzhia's reactors are much stronger and safer, designed to contain accidents better than older models. Still, no system is completely risk-free, especially in a war zone. If power were lost for too long, the nuclear fuel could overheat, melt through its container, and release radiation. There have already been reports of drones striking near key areas and even a cooling tower being damaged in 2024. Mines placed around the site add another layer of danger. So far, radiation levels remain normal, but the threat is always present. One wrong move could spread radioactive material across borders, carried by the wind into other European countries. The information blackout. The scariest part? No one outside truly knows what's happening inside Zaporizhzhia. Since Russia's takeover, access has been tightly controlled. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has kept a small team on site since 2022, but they face restrictions on movement and communication. Reports often conflict. Russia claims everything is fine, while Ukraine warns of sabotage. Independent investigators rely on satellite images and insider messages to piece together the truth. Greenpeace and other organizations have raised alarms about unsafe conditions, but much remains hidden. Some workers have vanished, others fear speaking out. Even the IAEA admits that information is incomplete. This blackout of facts creates confusion and fear, leaving the world guessing what's really happening inside Europe's most dangerous building. The world reacts. The world continues to watch Zaporizhzhia closely. In 2022, the IAEA sent inspectors who remain on site to monitor safety. Their chief, Rafael Grossi, urged both sides to create a nuclear safety zone and avoid attacks near the plant. The United Nations and many countries agree no military should ever operate near such a sensitive site. Ukraine keeps demanding Russian withdrawal, supported by Western nations. Some peace plans in 2025 suggest returning the plant to Ukraine under global oversight. Russia, however, talks about restarting it by 2028, though experts doubt that's possible without true peace and lasting safety guarantees. Hope amid the chaos. Even amid danger, hope persists at Zaporizhzhia. Brave Ukrainian workers still maintain the reactors daily, ensuring cooling systems run safely and fuel remains stable. IAEA experts continue monitoring, confirming that safety rules are followed despite risks. After the dam collapse, new wells now supply cooling water, showing how quick thinking prevents disaster. In 2025, Ukraine and the US introduced plans to restore safe control of the plant, backed by Europe. Talks continue slowly but steadily. Each day, without radiation leaks, every successful repair and every calm moment prove that teamwork and courage can triumph even in the darkest times. The future of nuclear safety. The Zaporizhzhia crisis has reshaped global thinking about nuclear safety. Leaders now push for laws to make any attack or military use of nuclear plants a global crime. Countries are upgrading backup systems, adding generators, solar power, and safer cooling to avoid another near catastrophe. Ukraine's long-term goal is to regain control of Zaporizhzhia and rebuild its energy independence. For the world, this serves as a powerful reminder: peace and energy safety must always go together. Nuclear power can light our future, but only if it's protected from war. Zaporizhzhia's story is truly a lesson for all humanity. The shutdown of Europe's biggest nuclear plant is more than a story about energy. It's a story about human courage, responsibility, and hope amid fear. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more deep dives into the world's most important stories.